Bigger, Leaner, Stronger, The Simple Science of Building the Ultimate Male Body by Michael Matthews. Picture a young guy walking into a gym for the first time, absolutely fired up to build a body he can finally be proud of. He devours every fitness magazine he can find, takes advice from the biggest dudes at the gym, and throws himself into the work. And man, does he work hard. For years. He's putting in endless hours, lifting weights, pushing himself until sweat is pouring off him and he can barely stand. He drops hundreds, then thousands of dollars on powders and pills that promise massive gains. He commits to eating clean, turning down pizza nights with friends for yet another bland meal of chicken and broccoli. He's doing everything by the book, or at least he thinks he is. Now fast forward almost 6 years. He's standing in front of the mirror, and what does he see? Sure, he's not out of shape, but he's nowhere near the guy he dreamed of becoming. What stares back at him is just average. After thousands of hours of sacrifice, his physique is completely unremarkable. That crushing frustration, that feeling of being betrayed by his own hard work, is where this story really kicks off. Because that young man was Michael Matthews himself. But here's the thing. Instead of throwing in the towel, he made a decision that would completely change his life and eventually help hundreds of thousands of others. He decided to actually get smart about this. He tossed the magazines, stopped listening to gym folklore, and went on a mission to learn the actual science behind building muscle and losing fat. What he uncovered was a collection of straightforward, unchangeable principles. Think of them as laws of the human body, just as reliable as gravity. He completely rebuilt his training and nutrition from the ground up, and his body started transforming in ways he never imagined possible. Finally, he built that strong, lean, powerful physique he'd been chasing all those years. His book, Bigger, Leaner, Stronger, came out of that journey. It sold over 1 million copies, and not because of some slick marketing campaign. It delivers on its promise, plain and simple. It's pure scientific truth, distilled into a clear blueprint that cuts through all the noise and confusion cluttering the fitness world. Today, I'm going to walk you through that blueprint, and here's my promise. By the time we're done, you'll understand the fundamental laws of transforming your body. You'll see why most of what you've been told is actually designed to keep you confused and failing. And you'll have a clear, straightforward path to finally building the body you've always wanted. This isn't about magic shortcuts. It's about finding the one true straight road forward. Let's start our journey in what I call the maze of fitness lies. It's this massive, confusing world that most people wander through their entire lives without ever finding the exit. This maze is built and maintained by a multi-billion-dollar industry that profits not from your success, but from keeping you confused. Think about it for a second. Those magazines at the checkout counter feature guys whose physiques are built with absolutely staggering amounts of chemical assistance, yet they're used to sell you supplements that are basically expensive flavored dust. The articles inside push these ridiculously complicated and punishing workout routines with endless sets, supersets, and drop sets that aren't just inefficient, they can actually lead to overtraining. You end up stunting your growth or even getting weaker. They keep telling you to constantly switch up your exercises to confuse your muscles, which makes about as much sense as trying to confuse a hammer by hitting different types of nails. This industry needs you to believe the solution is complex, that it requires special tricks, secret formulas, and of course, their latest, greatest product. Because if they just told you the simple truth, they'd have almost nothing left to sell you. On the flip side, you've got all these fat loss myths running wild. We're told that calories don't actually matter, that it's all about cutting carbs or eating clean or only eating during certain magic hours of the day. We're sold on the idea that endless cardio will somehow melt away belly fat, despite seeing people running on treadmills for months on end without any visible change. And we're told we can do crunches to get a six-pack, this myth called spot reduction, which is straight up biologically impossible. This overwhelming flood of garbage information is the single biggest reason why 9 out of 10 people at the gym are making little to no progress. They're working hard, absolutely, but they're completely lost in the maze. Matthews argues that escaping this maze doesn't start with a new exercise, but with a new understanding. It starts with defining our terms, just like the ancient philosopher Socrates taught that wisdom begins with clear definitions. So let's cut through the fog. What's a calorie? It's not actually a thing you can touch. It's a unit of measurement for energy potential. The food you eat is fuel for your body, and a calorie is simply how we measure the amount of fuel in that food. And what about proteins, carbs, and fats? They're the 3 types of fuel, called macronutrients. Protein is made of amino acids, the building blocks your body uses for growth and repair. It packs 4 calories per gram. Carbohydrates are molecules that serve as your body's go-to source for immediate energy. They also contain 4 calories per gram. Fat is a substance used for energy storage, hormone regulation, and other vital functions. It's the most energy-dense fuel at 9 calories per gram. Once you understand this simple language, the first and most important law of body weight becomes crystal clear: the law of energy balance. Your body is constantly cycling between storing energy from food and burning energy to keep you alive. Right after you eat, while your body is absorbing nutrients, it's in a fed state, tucking away some of that energy as body fat for later. After it finishes processing the meal, it enters a fasted state, where it has to tap into those fat stores for energy. If over the course of a day you store exactly as much energy as you burn, your weight stays the same. Store more than you burn by overeating, you get fatter. Burn more than you store by eating in a calorie deficit, you get leaner. This is an unbreakable law of physics. It doesn't matter what types of food you eat or when you eat them. You absolutely cannot get leaner unless you're in a calorie deficit. With this foundation locked in, we can now uncover the simple, scientific laws that actually govern how your body changes. Let's start with the 3 laws of muscle growth. The first and most crucial law of muscle growth is progressive overload. This is your master key. That burn you feel in your muscles, it's just lactic acid, and it does very little to trigger growth. The pump? That's just blood getting trapped in the muscles. Sure, it feels awesome, but it's not what drives growth. The single most powerful signal you can send your muscles to force them to grow is progressive tension overload. In plain English, you've got to get stronger by lifting progressively heavier weights over time. Your muscles won't grow unless they're given a compelling reason to. Subjecting them to more and more mechanical stress and tension is the most convincing reason there is. This is why the Bigger, Leaner, Stronger program centers on heavy weightlifting, specifically in the 4 to 6 rep range. This means using a weight heavy enough that you can bang out at least 4 reps, but not more than 6. Research shows this intensity, around 80 to 85% of your 1 representative max, hits the sweet spot for building both strength and size. Your main goal at the gym is no longer to get tired, it's to add weight to the bar over time. The second law of muscle growth is proper rest. Here's a reality check. Lifting weights doesn't actually build muscle. It breaks it down. You're creating tiny microscopic tears in your muscle fibers, what's called micro-tearing. The actual growth happens after the workout, when your body is resting. That's when it repairs those damaged fibers, making them thicker and stronger to better handle the stress next time you train. But this repair process takes time. Depending on how intense your training was, it can take anywhere from 2 to 7 days for your body to fully repair a muscle. If you hammer the same muscle group again before it's fully recovered, you're just tearing it down further and short-circuiting the whole growth process. This is one of the main causes of overtraining, which leads to fatigue, hormonal issues, and even muscle loss. That's why the program is designed to hit each major muscle group hard just once every 5 to 7 days, giving it plenty of time to recover, adapt, and grow stronger. The third law of muscle growth is proper nutrition. You could nail the first two laws perfectly, but if you're not feeding your body the right raw materials, you're not going to grow. This boils down to two things. First, you need to be in a slight calorie surplus. To build new tissue, your body needs a bit more energy than it burns each day. This is the whole reason bulking exists. Cutting calories actually hampers your body's ability to create new protein and build muscle. Second, you need to eat enough protein. Protein breaks down into amino acids, which are literally the building blocks of muscle tissue. A tried-and-true guideline, backed by solid science, is to consume around 1 gram of protein per pound of your body weight each day. Those are your 3 pillars of muscle growth: a powerful stimulus through heavy lifting, adequate recovery through rest, and the right building materials through calories and protein. Now let's flip to the other side with the 4 scientific laws of healthy fat loss. The first law is maintaining a calorie deficit. As we've already established, this is the absolute, non-negotiable foundation of fat loss. But how you create this deficit is crucial. A crash diet with severe calorie restriction is a terrible idea. It causes your metabolism to slow down to conserve energy, and it triggers significant muscle loss along with fat. The goal is a moderate, sustainable calorie deficit that lets you lose about half a pound to 1 pound of fat per week. This pace is slow enough to ensure that almost all the weight you lose is fat, not precious muscle. The second law is balancing your macronutrients. A calorie might be a calorie for weight loss, but it's definitely not when it comes to body composition, meaning whether you're losing fat or muscle. To lose fat while keeping muscle, you need to eat enough protein. This is priority number 1 when cutting. High protein intake has been proven to preserve lean mass during a calorie deficit. Eat enough carbohydrates. Tons of fad diets demonize carbs, but they're your body's preferred energy source. Eat too few and your workout performance will tank, plus you'll lose more muscle. Eat enough dietary fat. Healthy fats are essential for maintaining optimal hormone levels, including testosterone, which helps preserve muscle. The third law is eating on a schedule that actually works for you. The myth that you need to eat 5 or 6 small meals a day to boost your metabolism has been completely debunked. Research shows that over a 24-hour period, total calories burned is the same whether you eat 2 large meals or 6 small ones. Same thing with eating at night. Your body doesn't have some magic clock that suddenly starts storing food as fat after 6 in the evening. The best eating schedule is simply the one you find most enjoyable and easiest to stick with, because consistency is what ultimately gets results. The fourth law is using exercise strategically. Your primary goal with exercise during a cut isn't to burn calories, it's to preserve muscle. The single best way to do this is to keep lifting heavy weights. This sends a powerful signal to your body that your muscle mass is necessary and shouldn't be broken down for energy. Cardio can then be added to speed up fat loss by burning additional calories. The most effective type is high-intensity interval training, or HIIT, which has been shown to burn more fat in less time than traditional steady-state cardio, and it does a way better job of preserving muscle and strength. These 7 laws form what Matthews calls the outer game of getting fit, but he argues this is only half the battle. The other half is the inner game. The mental and emotional challenge. We all start a new plan with motivation overflowing, but within a few weeks, that tank starts running low. The TV show is on during gym time. That extra hour of sleep seems impossible to resist. That cheat meal turns into a cheat weekend. This is the battle of willpower. Matthews breaks willpower down into three distinct forces. I won't power is your ability to resist temptation. I willpower is your ability to do what needs doing, even when you really don't feel like it. I want power is your ability to remember your long-term goals and your why in the heat of the moment. Our brains are hardwired for immediate gratification thanks to a chemical called dopamine. When you see something you want, like a donut, dopamine floods your brain, creating a powerful urge, a promise of reward that can feel impossible to ignore. This ancient survival mechanism is now a serious liability in our modern world, which is literally engineered to constantly trigger this reward system. The greatest enemy of willpower is stress. When we're stressed, our brain shifts into fight-or-flight mode, prioritizing short-term survival over long-term goals. The more stressed you are, the more likely you are to cave to your impulses. And ironically, a lot of the things we do to relieve stress, like binge-watching TV or eating comfort food, actually make things worse. So how do you strengthen this inner resolve? Matthews explains that willpower is like a muscle. It can be trained. Small, regular acts of self-control, like correcting your posture or tracking your spending, can build your overall willpower reserve. But the single most powerful tool? Exercise. Research shows that regular exercise reduces cravings, makes us more resistant to stress, and improves self-control in every area of life. Every workout you do is like refilling your willpower tank. Another powerful strategy is learning how to handle failure. You will mess up. The key is avoiding what's called the what the hell effect, where one small mistake snowballs into a complete meltdown. The antidote is self-compassion. Instead of beating yourself up, treat yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a friend. Acknowledge the mistake, learn from it, and get right back on track. This approach is scientifically proven to lead to better self-control in the long run. With the outer and inner games mastered, we arrive at the practical blueprint. The Bigger, Leaner, Stronger training program follows a simple, powerful formula. Train 1 to 2 muscle groups per day. Do heavy sets of 4 to 6 reps. Perform 9 to 12 of these working sets per major muscle group. Rest 3 to 4 minutes between heavy sets to ensure full recovery and maximum strength. Your workouts will last 45 to 60 minutes. Short, intense, and effective. Every 8 to 10 weeks, take a deload week with lighter training to let your body and nervous system fully recover. The program is built around 4 great pillars of strength: the squat, the bench press, the deadlift, and the military press. These compound exercises are your non-negotiables. They build the foundation. Other exercises are then added to ensure balanced, proportional development. The diet is equally straightforward, using what's called flexible dieting. You're given simple formulas to calculate your daily calorie and macronutrient targets based on your goal, whether you're cutting to lose fat or bulking to gain muscle. As long as you hit those numbers, you have incredible freedom. The recommendation is to get at least 80% of your calories from nutritious whole foods, but that other 20% can be foods you actually love, including treats and desserts. This makes the diet enjoyable and sustainable, which is the key to long-term success. Finally, a word on supplements. Matthews cuts through the billion-dollar fog of marketing to reveal that most supplements are a complete waste of money. Things like testosterone boosters and most fat burners are totally ineffective. However, a few have stood the test of science. Creatine for strength and muscle gain, protein powder for convenience, caffeine for performance, and a good multivitamin and fish oil for overall health. That's the short, effective list. In the end, Bigger, Leaner, Stronger is a powerful call to return to the fundamentals. It teaches you that building an incredible body isn't about discovering some secret or finding a shortcut. It's about understanding the simple science, mastering your own mind, and then showing up day after day to consistently do the things that matter most. As we wrap up this deep dive into Bigger, Leaner, Stronger, it's worth reflecting on the simple yet profound philosophy at its core. In a world that relentlessly pushes more information, more complexity, more secrets, Michael Matthews presents a radical alternative, a return to the fundamentals. The true power of this book isn't in some revolutionary new exercise or a groundbreaking diet. It's the liberating realization that the basics, when executed with unwavering consistency, are all you ever truly needed. The fitness industry thrives by making you feel inadequate, as if the key to your success is always just one more purchase away. This book shatters that illusion. It empowers you by revealing that the most effective tools for transformation, a barbell, simple food, and your own discipline, have been within your reach all along. This principle of mastering the basics extends way beyond the gym. It's a universal blueprint for excellence. Whether you're building a business, learning an instrument, or cultivating a relationship, the path to extraordinary results almost always comes down to the consistent execution of simple, fundamental actions. It's about applying progressive overload to your skills, fueling your mind with quality information, and giving yourself the rest required to grow. Bigger, Leaner, Stronger isn't just a fitness manual. It's a lesson in the power of simplicity and focus. If you want to start applying these principles today, here are 3 simple actions you can take. First, just for today, track what you eat. Don't judge it. Don't try to change it. Just write it down. This simple act of measurement is the first step toward conscious control. As the saying goes, you can't manage what you don't measure. Second, in your very next workout, pick one of the big compound lifts, the squat, bench press, deadlift, or military press, and focus on just one thing, adding 5 pounds to the bar or getting just one more representative than you did last time. This single act embodies the entire principle of progressive overload. It's tangible proof that you're becoming stronger. And third, take a moment to define your I want power. Why are you on this journey? What will having that stronger, leaner, more confident body do for your life? Write down your deepest reasons. Because on the days when motivation fades and temptations are screaming, it's this powerful why that will see you through. That was our summary of Bigger, Leaner, Stronger by Michael Matthews. We've walked through the core principles today, but a summary can only ever be a map of the territory. The real adventure happens when you explore it for yourself. The true magic is found in those quiet moments of reading, when a particular story or simple idea resonates with you in a way you didn't expect. This summary is designed to help you decide if this book is worth your time and attention. If anything we've talked about has sparked something within you, I urge you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about gaining knowledge. It's an experience that can genuinely change your relationship with your body and your potential. The link to the book is in the description. Also, if you found this journey valuable, please show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. It lets us know we're bringing you value and ensures you won't miss our next deep dive into another life-changing book on Billionaire's Bookshelf. Let's keep growing together.